Good evening. We have, this is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 4:37-ish p.m., maybe even 4:38-ish. This is the City of Blue Lake Economic Development Commission. We have a quorum of three. Three is a quorum. And so the next item on the agenda is a motion to approve the agenda. Let's take a look at this and see if there's anything we can table for another meeting.
Well, without Linda,
Yep, I think the business outreach would be a good thing to revisit in 2026. So let's see what else we got here. Humboldt Maid is not here. Is somebody have some? We could kick Humboldt Maid around a little bit.
Yeah. Because I don't know, she was meeting with them and there was some kind of
yeah.
status report she was going to provide.
Okay, so we've got
10.
business out. So 10 and 11 are kind of on here. 10 and 12 are kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll strike one of those. We'll strike 12 out.
Okay.
And we had the chamber. We do not have staff here that I see. So number 7, we're just going to have to be tabled. And I think commission minute taker needs to go up here to the top. But really,
No one is going to volunteer.
To take the minutes.
So are you saying to me, my husband said this would happen, that I should take them today? Because
You're
Linda
so-
said she was going
You're
to.
so good at it.
No, I mean, it's hard for the chair to take the minutes. So I will do it this one last
but we will
time.
discuss this topic in item 6 in depth and see if we can find some possible action.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so let's see. So
Do we have a motion to approve?
we're going to have a motion to revise the minutes to table item 7, the staff report, being there's no staff, and to date item 12 because it's a duplicate of item 10. But we're also going to table item 10 until 2026.
Okay.
So that's 3 changes. Hopefully AI can help you with this. But
I'd be
so
afraid what it
Mhm,
would
that's what I was
say.
thinking too.
I think that's what you're going to have to just, maybe we need someone from city staff to weigh in on that, what that would be like if there's rules about it. But as long as it's, anyway, getting back to the topic of the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so is there a second? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as revised?
I motion that we approve the agenda, taking 7, 10, and 12 out until January 2026, or 2026 next meeting.
That works. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is the public here that wants to input? There is no public here, just for the record, there is no public, but we do have our city council liaison present. Are you working as the public too? Would you like to comment on the agenda since you are public and liaison?
Hi, thank you for being here tonight. And yeah, this seems like the best place to introduce myself for first time in my capacity as liaison to the Economic Development Commission. So again, thank you for being here. And as you go along, if you have a question that you think I might be able to help you with, you could call me up. Otherwise, just do your thing. And also, as far as if this might be helpful to you tonight, the council has moved to action item agenda notes, or action item meeting minutes. So it's very concise. It will save you a lot of time. And for
And with that said, do you have a sample of should I look online to see what your minutes are? Because I've generally done too much, and I know that. I could write a book.
Yeah. You know, that's our inclination, right? Because we don't want to feel like we're shortchanging any of the conversation. But actually, my understanding is what is required really is just, establishing the quorum, approve the agenda. So those things that fall under parliamentary procedure, and then where there are actions and votes. And you can just say quick discussion on having rubber ducky parade. quick discussion on, raising funds. So it can be that brief if you so choose.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can look, there's actually guidance online about action meeting minutes. I think if you look up those 3 words, you'll land in that territory pretty quickly. And then the city manager, I think, also has some information on that.
I mean, I know that I've been told that I do too much. And, but then that's kind of how I've always done it. And so it makes it kind of like, well, am I missing something pertinent? But then again, people can go watch it online.
Yeah, anybody who wants in-depth can relive the entire meeting. Unless there's a technical failure, which is what the action minutes cover.
Yeah. The action
Okay.
minutes basically say that you went through the process, this is what was decided, and just hit the headlines,
Short,
the
sweet.
votes, recorded vote if needed, and move on.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, any questions or anything while I'm here?
No,
Not
not
yet.
yet. We're kind of informal, but we do try to, I mean, with the public, there's a little more, and this is for the public. I know you're watching later.
I'm so glad I got dressed up.
You look like you're very comfy. Yeah.
Okay, so we have revisions to the agenda. We have approved the agenda. Is that where we got?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the agenda is approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is public input. The public is invited to present petitions, make announcements, or provide other information to the commission that is relevant to the scope of authority of the city of Blue Lake that is not on the agenda. The commission may provide up to 15 minutes for this public input session. To ensure that each individual presentation is heard, the commission may uniformly impose time limitations of 3 minutes to each individual presentation. The public will be given the opportunity to address items that are on the agenda at the time the commission takes up each specific item. There is no public here at this time. We will update if there is. So item 4, we have agenda minutes from the August 12th meeting.
Been a while.
This is a robust minute-taking.
It is, but I came in late, but I was here.
Didn't I have you on
So-
there?
Nope, I'm not in there, so I
Oh,
wanted
Kelly.
to add myself in there.
That's
It
okay.
talks about later that I talked in one of the spots, so it shows I was
I
here.
need to
Yeah, usually you add somewhere like Kelly Costa entered the meeting or something.
Well, I have commissioners present, and you're
Oh.
up there.
Am I up there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I missed myself. Okay, I apologize. I don't know how I did that. I
It
apologize.
happens.
Yes, I am there. Thank
We got a
you.
good crowd.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I think that was the only thing that I thought I noticed, which I obviously was not right.
That was a long meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So maybe, if Jill's doing 20 hours a week, she may not have time to make another. Okay, I did read this. Okay. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 commission meeting.
A motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th meeting.
And I'll do the second.
Does the public have any input on the minutes from the August 12th meeting? Seeing none, a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on, item 7.
We're skipping that.
Oh, 5, sorry.
Oh.
The other, 5, item 5, thank you. Really appreciate you keeping me on.
Sorry.
Item 5, acknowledge resignation from the EDC of Darcy Lima as effective November 6, 2025. She had a great run. I miss her, but it was time for her to step down, and we
Yeah.
thank her for her service and
Yes.
all her thoughtful work over the
And
years.
and it was really important to have a business representative.
It really is important to have somebody who can represent businesses, because we're trying to build a community here with services and businesses that support the community.
And Kelly
the
has
business needs
that.
to be able to make a living, and the business has to support the person who is undertaking the business too.
Yes.
So does that mean we will have 1 or 2 open spots on our commission?
I think we have 5 seats, so there's a process for noticing the public about the opening, and
I think it's just one opening.
Just one?
just one.
Okay.
Linda has a seat here, but we may
Okay.
need to reschedule the meetings to find a time that works for her. But that will have to be a future agenda
Okay.
item.
No, I just didn't know if there was one or two for sure.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
it's okay. We're pretty informal here.
we are very informal.
On that, you might want to check the expiration dates because
There's like
they-
60 or 30
You'll
days.
have like 3 and 2 and 3 and 2. So every January 30th, you would have either 2 or 3 that are expiring.
Right, my
Yeah.
term ends the end of January.
Mine does too.
Okay, so those actually would be noticed in this
This month,
coming council
yeah.
meeting.
We may
which
not have a
hadn't really-
quorum for January if we don't get it together quick.
And then the process, I think in the past, it had been like, oh, people just kind of kept going and going. But really by ordinance, it's, even if you've been seated, the term expires at the end of that 2 or 3 year term. And that if you would like to continue, which we hope you would just submit your application, then it's considered with all the other
Yeah.
applicants. So it's kind of good to prepare for that.
And I
And it
think we
talks
do.
about it in this new
Yeah. And
economic
We do need to
development
be
commission.
prepared because some of us may not reapply.
Yeah,
And I think at some point it's come up, what happens if people don't come to meetings after a while?
and that's in here too, in this new, yeah, it's all
This
addressed.
is
in
really
here.
handy.
It is, it gave me a lot of information.
So I'm
And-
thinking my term goes through next year.
It must. If
Yeah.
both Cindy and I, our term is done.
And Linda was appointed to fill a vacancy, so her
Oh, that was
appointment, Jake's vacancy.
It was.
So that might be up too, I don't know.
Well, if it's two
No,
each year,
2.
so then maybe hers will go till 27, January of 27.
Maybe.
Yeah. How do we get that information
I
so that we
think
can
the
know?
city has records, and I should take better notes on that. So
That's how I found out when my term ended, because I asked Tony. Yeah.
Oh,
It should also be posted on the website.
When
oh,
they
that's
end?
right.
Yeah, it'll have each commissioner's name and when their term expires.
Oh, okay,
I think that's been kept current now.
okay. That'll
Okay,
tell us then.
So if we end up not having a quorum, then we would have a meeting in February after the council has a chance to reappoint, or
Well,
fill.
Cindy and I are still on
Through the end of
commission
January.
through
so
the
we
end of
could-
January.
Okay, so it's January
So
30th.
January, and then would it be that we have to reapply to go to, like, to renew? Is that how that would work? Or do we say we don't want to reapply? How do we know what to do for the end of our term?
There's a posting for the vacancies or the reappointments, and they get a pile of applications.
Okay,
If you're not too specific on your application, you can kind of freshen it up pretty easily.
because that's what would be happening this month.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
It is. Yeah, we're,
yeah.
I'm sorry for the back and forth, but it.
You
for
can
the
just stay up
microphone
there.
purposes. Yeah.
And this-
I don't want to oh, Kat's taking over the meeting kind of thing.
there's a gavel.
Yeah, we need that. Yeah.
So I think the process, as I've seen, and we have the 5 different commissions. Take planning commission out of the equation because it's a whole different animal. But if you know that you have seated chairs whose seats are expiring and you know that they'll be leaving, the chair will provide notice in that meeting and then provide that note and then also notify the city clerk. And the city clerk, which right now is also Jill Duffy, but then the clerk then takes their actions to make sure it goes into the queue that those vacancies would get announced.
Okay.
So if you were certain that you weren't going to want to continue, then, notifying, letting your chair know so the chair can officially notify would be the very clear steps with ordinance. Or you can
Yeah.
also just say, hey, I'm done. Whatever works.
Okay. So we have discussed the impact of
Darcy.
one law. So we will have at least one opening and then 2 to apply to re-up. And we're not sure, we think Linda is good until 2027. We're not,
We could probably
we can,
look at that.
Tony can clarify that, maybe a clarifying email from Tony about what our next steps are. And make sure,
Okay.
I think if Darcy left, she's probably there on the train to post it anyway. Are there any more comments on item 5?
Nope.
Okay, so moving on to item 6. The commission minute taker discussion and possible action item.
We're going to have to probably delay that because I don't think anyone here is going to volunteer.
I don't think I have the time.
Yeah.
I really
And-
just don't.
And I know Kelly doesn't want to.
But I also think we should simplify the process.
Yeah, and I
so-
think that makes a difference,
so the
although
administrative burden is
my
lower.
time is coming up, so we may need to make arrangements anyway.
Maybe the city clerk will have ideas. Who takes the minutes on city council meetings, Kat? Is that,
It's been a mix. So we had, for a time, we had Laura McClanahan, who was hired to basically take those meeting minutes, get them posted. But she's no longer able to continue those duties. She was kind of doing the full Monty of, like, almost verbatim.
yeah, no, less is more.
Yeah.
So currently, it's been Jill, and then also happily, Emily Wood, the Parks and Rec director, has also stepped in to assist with that. And then I know myself and Mayor Sawatsky are an ad hoc about commissions, and when we, think about the commissions and the support that we can give realistically, I think the idea is if the pieces were in place, all of the verbal content could be caught and then AI'd, and then a quick review to be able to generate the minutes. What that means is someone wouldn't have to be present to do that, but we'd have to make sure that at a minimum, action items were always recorded then and there, so in case there was an issue with video, but that after the fact, staff could visit that. And I think that could be a good balance of capturing more fully what's there and also ensuring we get the legal minimum.
Yeah, well, one thing I was going to ask is, does the council see the value of continuing on with the Economic Development Commission?
I don't know that we've had the discussion, but I'd say right off the bat, and given the state we're in, it's absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like I'm speaking for myself. We kind of had a direction that we were going, and then Mandy, the city manager, left. And so we haven't really figured out what the direction is.
That may be where we are. We're kind of in the soup a little bit and sorting things out. And
Yes.
how you get through it is you kick ideas around and you
Yeah.
collect public input, you have public meetings, and you talk to your council and you talk to your
You might as well
commission.
just stay up there.
I know. I think you're absolutely right, is that anytime there's change, there's opportunity.
Uh-huh.
And I think this brings about that question of, how do our commissions, bring to and hear from the public and then kind of refine what the public might be thinking and then help present that, in a manner it's like, instead of the whole thing like, we need businesses, we need revenue,
Yeah,
what do we do?
we need some direction as to what is appropriate.
And I think that really speaks to maybe how commissions had kind of developed over the past, and I think maybe when we go back to what the original intent is. And so one of the other pieces, and I don't speak for the whole council on this, but one of the other pieces that we should be discussing, especially at the beginning of the year, is how do we as a city begin to coordinate our efforts so that we're all rowing in the same direction? And one of the things that I see a simple solution is a city calendar, which, you have when your budget is due, you have when insurance is due, you have certain activities at certain times. Those get plugged into whether it's a council calendar or Parks and Rec calendar. So we begin to know those things that are triggered by a specific event or time. Then we double back and say, council, what are the direction that we're going for, and then work with those commissioners to say at what time in the year would they be able to address some of those issues. I think having a more fluid conversation and establishing agenda between the commissions and the council can help get us in unison with each other.
There were some documents that were prepared, the strategic vision that what, there were two of them. There was an update and then there was one that was done at the end of, yeah, long time ago. I think that would be important to kind of revisit
I
that.
think there's a lot of public that would like to have more input on that.
I just brought that up in the last, I think it was the regular council meeting, or it could have been the special one too if we were talking about budget. And that is budgeting for that very purpose. And to have a strategic visioning and have community involvement in here, because we know that we're there's a lot of flux, a lot of energy and going different directions. And, we're just going to flounder and kind of claw at each other until we find out what is our agreed upon direction. How do we
Yes.
get there? What does that look like? And then develop a plan for that. But I think we kind of have a lot of, push-pull tension. And by bringing it back to the public and saying, what do we want to be? Who do we want to be as Blue Lake? That's kind of the starting point.
It is, and I think that some of the things that were brought up over the years, I mean, there was some pretty good ideas that were generated years ago that actually came to fruition. But then that needs the whole strategic vision needs to be updated.
I'm going to
And
interrupt here because I think we're
Oh,
getting off of the
Thank
agenda.
you, yes.
Oh.
My bad.
oh, way to go!
Yeah, thank you for.
But
keeping
I
us
think
informed.
this is a conversation that needs to be continued and put agendized for a future agenda because
It's a biggie.
and I would just say that I think we got into the weeds a bit when the pandemic happened.
That's
The
when it
pandemic
started.
has made everything a little weird, and then we've emerged from the pandemic. The world is a little bit different. Blue Lake is different. People feel different about gathering still, some not. And more public participation would be ideal.
I guess what I was going to say is, at this point, until we know where the river is and which way we're going, it almost seems like we may want to wait. You're going to get a new city manager, and I'm wondering if we should kind of pause us until it gets more firm.
I see value
yeah.
in just kind of dog
Okay.
paddling,
Yeah.
floating, just drifting, and just hold the place, hold the space, and see how.
Yeah, because sometimes if you do let it go, it never comes back. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, perhaps one idea would be, what would you want a new city manager to know? What would be some baseline information that would be really appropriate for you guys to begin to gather? Whether it's a list of resources, a list of businesses, maybe the size of businesses. You could do a review of sales tax generated by different businesses. I think there's some things that might kind of like provide a little quick overview, like, oh, all this is happening in Blue Lake, okay. So, I mean, not telling this commission what to do, but I think there's a way to use that time, if you so choose, that would still bring out some really good product.
And I'll just say that I think that there is value in that. I just think that we have floundered since August. It's the last set of minutes.
Before,
Oh, even, okay.
sure, I would say.
Yep. Yeah.
But again, this,
But we had discussed maybe quarterly meetings might be more appropriate for something like
Yeah,
this body anyway.
but this Title II that's in our packet, that also has a list of duties
Oh.
that I have asked prior administration, what is my job here? What am I supposed to be doing? And so this also gave me some insight, but it does talk about us working closely under the direction of the city council, and so I'm not sure how that process all flows from what this says, but it shows that we have something to do. That, our legwork doesn't go to nowhere kind of thing. So it does give us some path, I suppose.
Are we on item 9 yet?
I know.
think we're bouncing
No,
around here.
Yeah,
I
I just was wanting to just kind of keep going
Yeah.
back to that document. Says a lot, and I think it's a really great thing to have in place, for sure.
For sure.
Um,
I'll hold my comments until we get to that. so
Yeah,
that I don't-
that is number 9. So
Okay, so we have, well, we're probably getting there. So we have a the commission minute taker is going to have to be a discussion item and possible action item for our January meeting. And in addition to, I think we need to discuss meeting time.
And maybe the day.
We were,
And maybe we should meet before or after, how that ties into working to when the city council meetings are versus before, after, or whatnot. So that's a future agenda item, and which brings us up to item 8, the Chamber of Commerce report. And there was no meeting yesterday for the chamber. Oh, you did? Okay.
Check. Get my phone to turn on. Check. There we go. All right, so we did have a meeting. We had to move our meeting around because it was interfering in other meetings and then interfered in other meetings. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we were talking about, Emily Wood stepped down. Apparently there was something in the city handbook that stated that because she was an employee, she couldn't be a part of the Chamber of Commerce. So,
What?
so yeah,
Really?
there's a whole thing. So yeah, she had to step down. So we had to get rid of, not fun, but I understand. We had, still working on our website. And we're working with, the, Arts and Heritage about the town banners out there on the road. Working on a membership drive, for our next year. And then we'll have, my truck, we're gonna put some, lights and stuff on it for the float, for the holidays, for the tree lighting. And then this one was kind of a big one. I know it hit the pages pretty quickly. Somebody saw our agenda and it blew up pretty big, about Science Night. So apparently there is the largest group of science-minded people here in Blue Lake. Apparently there's a whole lot of really smart people right here in Blue Lake.
Oh my goodness.
And they want to hold events
Cool.
where they hold these meetings and they talk about sciencey stuff. Apparently they held one in Arcata. They drew people from all around Northern California, and apparently they draw in some pretty big numbers.
Wow.
So they're wanting to hold these events at local businesses.
Have they reached out to Del Arte? Because they have a
They have
venue.
not. They reached out to us first.
Oh,
So we will be holding a meeting with them at our next chamber meeting, which is the first Tuesday of January at 5:30, right here in Skinner Store. And we will be talking about what it is that they want to do. So it sounds like they want to hold these at various businesses and bring in possibly 100 to or more people to these events. Apparently, the one they held in Arcata brought in between 100 and 150 people from all around Northern California.
Science is cool.
So apparently, there is a draw. Well,
the tap room has one.
the tap
that
room
I've
does
heard
have
is this
a,
get there early or standing room only.
yeah, apparently it's standing room only, and they hold that once a month, and these people are wanting to do more than one a month.
Oh, wow.
is it basically a type of a fundraiser for them, or is it just informational and?
So it's partially fundraising, but they are a nonprofit. They're nonprofits.
It's a,
So
what's the nonprofit called? Okay, we'll find
it's
out
a
next meeting.
consortium of intelligent people. Again, I don't know a lot about it. I'm sharing what I know. That's why I'm looking forward to this presentation that they're going to do. Frankly, they start using words that are a little bigger than my mind handles. My brain just kind of out the window. But what I heard is lots of people coming into town to spend their money at local businesses. And you have me there. So they would be cross-posting with, so like say 1 week they would hold one at the brewery, 1 week they'd hold one at the Lager, 1 week they'd hold one at Del Arte in the theater. And then they'll cross-post and all that kind of stuff and cross-advertise. And it sounds like they're talking about bringing lots of people into Blue Lake.
That would.
And if you're coming into Blue Lake and you're spending money at the businesses, well, that helps everyone.
What time are your meetings?
At 5:30 on the first Tuesday. And so we welcome anyone with input on that to come and listen to their what they have to say. I know I'm sure looking forward to hearing them out and seeing what they want to offer. And honestly, I think it could be a really good thing for the community.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, yes.
Anytime you bring people in that want to spend money,
Yeah,
I'm
you
all
might
for
need
that.
food trucks or something to support that crowd, but we can do that.
Exactly. Food trucks come in, then they make money. And I mean, or you hold it at the brewery where they have their own food bowl, then that increases their sales for that day. So
That really is economic development.
it really is.
Yeah.
But it's also community it's educational too.
Yes.
It's like it's not.
So they would do like, so the way it was partially explained was, so like if it's the logger, they would talk about like the history of logging.
Oh,
And talk about why the logger was important, or why
see.
certain businesses were important during that time, and talk about just
Or the 54 earthquake up on Fickle Hill, like
or,
flooding
or
history
any
around
number of
here.
geological stuff for just apparently there's just because of like Green Diamond, apparently they hire like a great number of scientists.
They have to have them
because
for the
of
timber
other
and the
environmental
forestry
and
biologists,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So
geologists, or
apparently Blue Lake is home to some of a vast majority of science-based people.
Wonderful.
It's like one of the biggest groups. I think they said it in at least Northern California.
per capita? Is that kind
per
of?
capita? So in Northern California and possibly even the Western U.S. So yeah, who knew, right? It's like they're telling me this, and it's like here in
Really?
Little Blue Lake. I thought the same thing when people told me about Del Arte. I had no idea how big
That's
Del
what-
Arte was.
Oh wow!
I didn't. I mean, I went and I was in grammar school, and I went and did a play in Del Arte, and I never thought nothing of it.
An MFA program right here. Yeah.
And then I go, a couple cities over, and telling a friend in high school, oh, this little thing called Del Arte, and he's like, you got to be in there, and it's like, yeah, what's the big deal? And he's like, dude, you need to look this up. And I had no idea that it was like a world-renowned acting
Yeah.
thing. I had no idea. But yeah, right here in Little Old Blue Lake. Who knew? So,
And there are other things like that that we really should explore. What is here? There are people who are not just the scientists, but there are other people who are really known for their work. And we have artists, we have science, we have all this different stuff. And we need to celebrate who we are. Instead of,
I think we have taken too much for granted.
yes. Yeah.
I mean, I know a friend of mine from Michigan. I was telling him, oh, I just went and played out in the woods, and I sent him a picture of my new vehicle sitting in front of a tree. I think nothing of it because it's I see redwoods all the time, and I took a picture of my truck and sent him a picture, and he just gobsmacked. What is that?
You said my new truck.
And it's like, and then he's like, no, what's that? How big is that thing? And it's like, I think nothing of, a 40,
Yeah.
50, 60-foot tree, no big deal.
Yeah.
To someone in Michigan, that's just astounding. And yeah, I think we have been a little, I think we've forgotten where we live. And
And how special it is.
it is. And I think something like this could help us maybe realize just how special it is to live here.
It is.
So I for one am excited to
That's
to
very
hear what they have to
awesome,
say
yeah.
and hear
Well,
what they
you've
have
got
to
my
offer.
interest, yeah.
So
It's wonderful.
that's about it for us.
Right, well, thank you, Justin. Item 9 is this municipal code. So I have not seen this in a while, but this gives us potential development commission focus areas. So let's see, economic development, including but not limited to manufacturing, marketing, retail, tourism, business expansion, revitalization, and agriculture. And plans project for, well, I think the bike park is maybe something that it's coming along, and I think, I think it'll happen. I know that RCMBA is still working on figuring out how it can happen and has identified some funding sources, and that's really exciting to me. It's just not going to happen as fast as anyone might have hoped. But it is still a thing, and it's still happening. It's just going to take a while to build it in the right way with the right funding sources.
Well, there were things that in the past that we were kind of working on. I remember we'd have potential. That was one. But also the indoor recreation center
And that was something.
Sports project.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
looking at a site over on Taylor Way, and I don't know what the updates were because that was something that city staff kept up with.
Is that something that,
Yeah,
Kat
we don't
Kat
have a
would
city,
relay
someone
to
from the
the
city here
council?
today, but getting an update from the city on what the city is working on through, like the staff is working on at the direction of council, and that was a really helpful update.
Yeah.
yeah,
And we haven't had one of those in a while.
no.
And Jill was just getting up to speed and didn't have time for the whole meeting last time. So hopefully we can bring that back to our agenda so we can see.
Because that kind of falls into what we're
Yeah,
supposed
that's,
to do.
yeah.
Kat, do you know about that at all? If our future meetings will include the city, whoever's sitting in the city manager spot, so that we have that direction and information on projects and
What's
things
going
like that.
forward, what the city's looking at. I mean, the bike
Or
park
what's
was
fallen
one of
through,
many
yeah.
things that were going on in Blue Lake. And now I think we're still I still think we're in the holding pattern between the handoff between the interim to the next.
I think just shooting from the hip here, and given our budget constraints.
That's something, yeah.
First and foremost, and I think this, like the liaison can also be a two-way street. So when these topics come up and they're being discussed between council, and especially if there's discussion action item, and let's say that it's for the Rubber Ducky Parade T-shirt sales, then that would be that item that one of your economic development members would want to either attend or review after the fact. So you could fold that in directly. I think it's, and I'm not saying that you guys don't have huge demands on your time. Very grateful that you guys volunteer your time that you do. And as you know, for council members, we have our council meetings, the special meetings, the other special meetings.
You have so much going on.
And then we're also liaison to, the commissions here.
And half a dozen, everybody's on 2 or 3 other things, and then the updates flow back through it.
Right.
It's a lot.
So I think that a better way to avail each commission is to appoint an internal liaison that would be like, okay, you review the meeting and recap. There's always the ability, I think, to reach out directly to the city manager and say, hey, we have a quick question, but a lot of those questions can be or should be answered in a staff report that you have. And then as we begin to, settle down, we've had a lot of waves, right? And as we begin to settle down, I think that there will be a plan to roll out information on a more regular basis. A lot of folks in the community have questions. I have questions, as council member. So there's that.
Yeah. I think the power plant site is an area of concern, and I know there's no money to clear that up anytime soon, but that is,
We're
I
still,
feel it's an obstacle to economic development, and it's also an attractive news, but I don't think we're gonna fix it in 1 or 2
And
meetings.
it
Boy, it's
definitely
something.
has people with opinions, yeah.
so we're on item 9.
We are at the 9, yep,
Yep.
to discuss like things to focus, and so this will be something that we could probably revisit at every step. every meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it talks about in that, if I can, in that title, the municipal code, it talks about our duties to serve in an advisory capacity to the city council and as appropriate or directed the city manager, designated city staff and commissions in all matters pertaining to economic development. So it doesn't necessarily feel like we start a project from here.
No, we're
We-
not driving the bus.
Right, we're not driving the bus. So like, I feel like today, like, we don't know what any of those projects are, or what's being asked of us today or anything like that. So
It's
I
it's a very
definitely,
creative place to be.
it is, it very much is. And so
I would,
I guess I'm looking for, what is my job?
I would love to comment on that. I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head, and that's where this two-way street occurs. Is that, I'm here trying to provide what I can as a singular council person,
Yes,
and then you guys by being a designated liaison, and I think that could rotate, just whoever is willing to do it that month. I don't think we need to formalize it, but then they could also bring to council their concerns. And what I'm hoping could develop on the agenda is an agenda item that can have report out for the different commissions, so that you'd be able to ask the whole council while they're there, at least either make them aware or say, we have questions about our direction or the priorities or what you think about the Red Rubber Ducky Parade versus the Dog and Pony Show.
Should geese be allowed in the duck parade?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very divisive issue.
We have to be diverse.
For sure.
Of course, but they
So,
must dress as ducks.
these are
Maybe, yeah.
nuances, but they begin to get us, I think, where we want to be with our council, commission, public relationship.
Thank you.
great.
There's any more notes about this item? Oh, if you missed 3 consecutive meetings without cause, there you go. That's by a simple majority of 3 or more. Oh, but that's the city council that removes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of with Jake, he wasn't coming very often,
No, not at the end there.
no.
And the Brown Act, which we also need to be mindful of. Okay.
So do you think
Yeah,
it would be
that's very
helpful
informative.
for us
Thank you.
to ask to be on a council agenda where we can bring up some of this stuff, or is it too soon? Probably too soon?
Well, I think we're at the direction of the council, so we just kind of pay attention to their,
I guess it feels to me like if we're at the action of the council, then that would come through the city manager
Yeah.
to us. As that's how I feel that
Yes.
it would be conducted. And so, like if I went to the city council meeting and I brought back my information and you had questions, I don't have answers. I'm gonna who's gonna give the answers? I don't necessarily feel that's a beneficial process to wait and go back next month, and we won't get anywhere ever. And so, yeah, if we're under the direction of the council, then I feel that there should be someone with all the, which is like that city manager or some position that has all that information and say, you know, can we take this, the council's, I guess I'm just reiterating in my mind the path. The council says this would be a good project for the Economic Development Commission. The city manager comes to our meeting and brings it to us, and then we start a process and
Yeah,
report back.
But we're an advisory role.
Yes.
So like, it's just,
Well, and we did that with the cannabis ordinance.
right, and,
We
you
did
know,
that.
and the mayor would be interested in knowing what the council thinks about that, though from the conversation we had from public input, they were pretty much no.
It-
But sometimes you have to gauge whether the people that show up at the meetings are the most representative of the public, and there's no
That
way
is
to
a-
know that
Yep.
if people think, oh, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Me.
But you do want to have the right answers for the people who show up at your meetings
Right.
or take their input into account.
Kat's got a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to thank Kelly. I think you're exactly right, that we don't want it to be a situation where the city manager is cut out of that loop, and they are the absolute best repository and conveyance of information between the council and those commissions. But I think, at least for a time, that we begin to build this relationship between the council and commissions so that, just being realistic, I don't foresee that council members would be able to come and provide reports necessarily. And actually, I'm talking a lot because I feel ill-prepared tonight. But I think maybe we're looking at a combination of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very early in all this turmoil and process change and people change, and absolutely, I get that for sure.
Yeah. So, and if you guys have some ideas on that, on the flow that you would like to see, I would encourage you to write that out and bring that suggestion forward to the city manager if you so choose.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion, comments on item 9 here?
I don't think so.
So that would bring us to item 11, Humboldt Made.
We were going to postpone that one because that was coming from Linda.
Yeah, she had all that information.
Well, I can talk a little bit about it. I know that
good.
they've got the passport program for the holidays where there's an app you download and you
I
sign in
saw
for
that.
Humboldt, and there's prizes to be given away at the end based on what you spend. And some of what I see about this is in the chamber newsletters that go around
I've seen that
and some of
too.
the city newsletters that go
Yeah.
around. And there are a lot of those emails.
Is there any chance that,
Humboldt
I wonder
Made.
how merchants get into the passport program?
That I don't know.
Like,
But I think maybe
how do
they're
we
enrolled
get-
in Humboldt Made.
I would
members.
imagine that, Mad River Brewing is in that passport because it's a way to
I
get
would-
people to
Oh,
come
I
to your
didn't think about the
business.
tap room being. a
And what
passport.
about, Honeycomb Coffee or
And
Jewel?
I think
or-
that's why Linda was going to report on it. I think she
Yeah.
had the information.
She did, yeah.
So
Because that's a way to bring people, I know
And they
that,
have mixers too. Humboldt Made has mixers, and finding out more about Humboldt Made, show up at one of their mixers. They're often in the evenings, after
Okay.
work, on a night, and have other stuff.
especially during the holidays.
But this,
Okay.
this could also be on our next agenda.
It's great to see that Humboldt Made is getting more organized than they have been in the past.
They are, and they're really promoting shop local, and that is kind of like what I see our role is, like give Blue Lake more options to invest in our local community and not have to spend so much time going somewhere else to get something,
Yeah.
a need that we can meet here.
Yeah, I know that we've crossed off Agenda 12, but
12 is out.
as somebody that has a commercial space in Blue Lake that rents and seems to be having to cycle through tenants again.
It's hard to know.
It's a very hard town to have a business. Most people that bring business, it's some kind of a specific niche. And
Maybe the science night could shake somebody out for that space. if there
maybe,
is.
yeah. even as an office space, or it doesn't have to be a retail space. I know the city always likes the sales tax, but it's not always going to generate that much. Somebody,
Well,
stopped me on the road and said, "What about a mail order?" And I said, "Yep, but that sales tax goes somewhere else." So, but it's a hard place to wait for the traffic to show up because there is no thoroughfare here, especially in the wintertime, that kind of thing. So, finding
Well, even
businesses.
bigger foot traffic areas are struggling.
They
Even
are.
In Old Town,
They
I see
are.
turnover in Arcata. I mean, there's some vacant storefronts.
Absolutely. And in addition to that, it's finding a business that the community of Blue Lake can support itself. Not having that business owner waiting for someone to come from Eureka to come here specifically for that, where maybe the tap room has a specific band that someone from Eureka just loves and follows, and they come here for that, great. But you have a small business that, using the makerspace as that example, that has that kind of a niche type of thing. People aren't driving for that unless it's a birthday party or something specific. So I think it's a very, very challenging process. Like I said, I've had to break 2 leases, allow people to break 2 leases to get out of there. So there is a challenge.
And it's not like they didn't advertise.
Nope.
I mean, they did a really good job in reaching out to the community, but the community didn't reciprocate.
Yeah. But it's not, the economy is hard.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Maybe that
It's
$30
gotten harder.
that you would normally take your kid and go paint a plate is going now to your groceries because your grocery budget is bigger. I mean, it's all of that for sure, but
It's the economy.
it is. It's so finding those certain businesses. I don't know how far it really will go to try and procure a lot. Does that make sense right now? It feels hard.
there's some transitions happening.
Yeah. So anyway, I know that was off our agenda, but kind of in that Humboldt made category.
Yeah, what
you know.
Humboldt-made business could go in that spot and make a
Yes.
go of it?
For a long time, Del Arte had their office space there,
they
their
did?
library. Hmm.
Okay.
Was that
Yeah.
before they bought Taylor Way?
Yes, way before.
Okay.
They didn't have anything in Taylor Way. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But they had their library over there, and Stan Mott ran the library. A cousin, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry, I think I diverted.
Will there be public comment?
Is there any public comment on Humboldt-made?
There is, surprisingly.
Yay!
This is as a member of the public. I think you really bring up another terrific point, Kelly, that, we don't have that thoroughfare. And so if you're coming here, you're coming here, or at least you're going to get gas, and then you leave the same way that you came in. And I know, in the way back, plans had looked at how Taylor Way might have looped back. I think that opportunity is now probably all but eliminated with the gas station and other. But it still seems like that thoroughfare, that larger circulation in itself is kind of key.
Is there signage that we could do? Because wayfinding signage is kind of where this commission started. It's like
It is.
figuring out how to get a sign, keep going this way to get to downtown Blue Lake. And we figured out that the place we need to put a sign is on the county property and not in the cities. It's in the county. And then
I don't know what happened.
we went around and around Robin Hood's barn many times to try to figure out how to get a sign over there. But now it would seem like if we figure out where we need a sign, maybe we can get some traction with the county to figure out how that could happen. Now that we know it's not, there's the chamber sign, it's on the school property. I mean, maybe it's a sign, maybe there's a signage that would get people to, because businesses that have, like the tap room, Jewel Distillery, businesses that have a destination in Blue Lake can't advertise on 101 per Caltrans unless there is navigation from the highway to their business. So that's
the
why the tap
sign.
room
Yeah.
doesn't have a sign on 299. It's like, turn here for the tap room.
What do you mean by navigation?
Like wayfinding signage, and this is a term we learned, and wayfinding, like, you see there's a sign out here on the strip that says this way to the tap room, this way to the arena, this way to the parks, this way to bocce or whatever. It needs to be people who get off the highway and don't know where they're going, but know they want to go to the tap room, need to be able to have signs to their destination.
You'll see where it says next exit or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering what those.
Caltrans has
Yeah.
those
So
parameters.
Caltrans wouldn't let us do that
Not until there is navigation.
when they get into town.
Right, and the obvious places to navigation are not city-owned property. The places where would be where, I think where the big sign is a chamber sign,
Yep.
and
At the
that's on the
roundabout.
school property.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's the chamber sign, and I don't know if that's the best place to put it, but maybe. But it would require some sort of coordination process among city, county, landowner, school. I don't know. We've never really closed that loop. But that would be a
Yes.
pretty solid way to get people into Blue Lake if we could figure out how to do that.
And then you close the gate.
Move the signs after the.
January 10th.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Blue Lake is a hard place to have
Right, but the tap room needs customers, and world famous lager bar, Del Arte, baseball, which does draw quite a crowd. Okay, so there's a future agenda item there. We finished Humboldt Made
just now.
just now. So the future agenda items we need to discuss meeting time and date. Discuss, we would like to have a city staff report. And we'll make it a goal, even if we don't get there. What else did we say we were gonna talk about again? We wanna talk about minutes takers. We wanna keep this EDC commission role and the municipal code together. I think we should take some time to review what's attached here in the packet and come back and have some more discussion about it and keep picking out some focus areas. And I think what else?
I would really like to know the projects that we were working on, what's the status? I mean,
What
and
is
that's,
this? So we can revisit a past agenda with a project list and just kind of forward.
Yeah,
maybe
that would be-
specifically ask
The city
about
manager,
certain-
does she have the list? And then if there's
Yeah.
something that we can make available.
I mean, we can talk about, projects, but I think we need to go, what's happening with the plans that there was, the RV park, the
sports complex.
Sports
those big
complex.
projects that were in the design. Did they
Yeah.
just stop? Did they?
I'm concerned that having youth over here and like the development that we want, the good development that we want to see over here is going to be in some ways hindered or undermined by the power plant, the site being in the state that it's in. Because
you're not
if
wrong.
you're going to have a bunch of youth hanging out over there between practices, we don't want them exploring that property on
No.
their own.
no.
No, and
It's
we talked
dangerous.
about that when we had that town hall meeting. The dilapidation, I don't know what to call that, the
Deterioration.
deterioration, thank you, of that facility is extremely dangerous. You can put all the signs you want up on the fence.
Yeah, but the budget to clean it
But
up is not there.
Yeah, it's definitely not there, and so finding, if it isn't battery supply, then there's got to be other types of businesses that would clean up and put something there. But what is that? But you're not wrong. Let's not bring a bunch of RVers with their children and the river and all that.
Well, if you
and
want to
with
camp
that
by the
next
river, you
door.
don't want to camp by that.
Yeah.
The
and
idea was
so-
that would be cleaned up and
Yes, yeah, that's true. Those were all in layers, yeah. So there were all these other projects that we were kind of being told about and being advisories on it and things.
Yeah, and that tied into the larger community vision that we were kind of
Mhm.
need to kick around some more.
Yeah, I actually pulled that out this week, that vision packet from, I want to say it was the 90s.
In 97, it was Humboldt
97.
Area Foundation.
And it was
part of
amazing the things
Yeah, you
that
look at all the
were-
people that participated in that and
Yes.
how much has happened since then.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and how much was starting to happen from that old vision again. The RV park, all those things were starting to
Trails,
show.
the Redwood Trail opportunity there. That's
Yeah.
also going to bring
And
people
so
in
it
here.
was a really great document. And again, I revisited it this week with this agenda.
Is it online?
I don't know.
It was included in one of our packets.
It was.
But if
And
it's
it's not a
not,
lengthy document.
No, if you want me to, if you give me your email, I can scan it for you at home and send you what it was.
Oh, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, yeah.
Kay Napier at Blue Lake,
What was it?
Kay Napier, so KNAPIER at bluelake.ca.gov.
Bluelake.ca. Thank you.
And
It's been a long day.
I
Sorry.
would see, make sure that gets to Jill, because that needs to be something that's.
I
in the
think Jill
handoff.
found it.
She did?
Yeah, she found it and she was
might have worked on
amazed at how much had transpired since that. But one thing is, does the city of Blue Lake have a library meeting, documents that have been produced? Which would be really good because I had someone ask me that.
I remember when it was brought to us, it was something kind of like,
Look what I found.
look what I found
Right.
in a folder, in a file, and
This
you know.
happens in
do
economic
remember.
development. Somebody does a
Yeah.
study, they move on, and the study
Yeah.
goes in a box, and
Yeah.
everybody's, but some of these are living documents that are helpful.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's what I think is, it would be nice to have those documents on the city website so people could refer to it instead of saying,
It might
the
be
end of
on
the year.
there.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the woman that was our liaison when I first started the commission, she ended up leaving, but gosh, I cannot remember her name.
McKay?
It wasn't
She was
Summer.
part of that too. She was part of making that.
Was it Summer?
Was it McKay? No.
Elizabeth McKay?
Elizabeth? It was Elizabeth. Yes, she was, I believe, part of making that document too. And so it was really, yeah, it's a really great document to kind of go back and go, oh gosh. And I feel like regardless of who was the city person sitting here during this last however many years, regardless of that, there were projects that were in the shadows that were very, very much in line with that document before that document floated back to the top.
Yeah.
And so it really felt like, oh gosh, okay, the community wanted this at some
It
point.
is,
This
yeah.
is really great. Where everybody's on the right path. And like I said, regardless of the crap behind us, but it's a good document to look at and look at how people came together, worked together, and created a vision. And I think that
We
that
need to resurrect that.
yeah,
We do.
yeah, like you said, that something along those lines, because it's necessary. No, you're fine.
I think hand in hand with that is, there's that lovely, wonderful part, and then there's that kind of skeletal structure behind it.
Yeah.
That is the circulation plan, the general plan. And so, how do we begin to take this whole cumbersome process and break it down to where we can make some kind of progress?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have one holding up the other.
But those are important policy documents to have because they, for the grant writing process, because it's going to be a grant that cleans up that power plant site. It's not coming out of it would be nice to have a money tree there. But these are documents that how you get compliant and you write your grant so that it's supportive. This is what the community wants. They want this site cleaned up.
It's frustrating with the power plant, and I think it's almost worth it to divide the power plant and that grid connect from each other, because we're seeing it as a one issue solution step in a way, and really that grid connect has its own value
It-
and worth in the land that's on it.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
The power plant is separate, and I think if we just kind of bifurcate those two issues
Mhm.
and say, oh, that begins to free us up on how we approach it. And then, just as someone earlier was saying, that these things take time and all, I can only say that with the power plant itself, it's complicated. And so I think it would be lovely to have some thoughts and ideas sort of queued up. But as far as saying we're ready to, like, we want to implement these, there was work on the backside.
They had to even see if it's still, there was some due diligence they had to do to see if it could even reconnect and work. Was that?
Oh, on the Grid Connect side?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when Beth Burks, Executive Director now of RCA, presented here,
Mhm.
and she was sharing with us that actually with that Grid Connect, it's kind of aged out to where it doesn't have that fast track path to the connectivity
Mhm.
that it might have enjoyed at one time. And so it's still a valuable asset. And it's something that I don't think this council is going to lose sight of for a moment. But it isn't this perfect shiny bauble just waiting in the queue to be.
Just
released
unplug
and
in,
used.
plug in, and it's going to be fine.
But separate from that is the power plant itself and all of the, I'll just say unresolved questions and leave it at that. So anything realistically that would be happening on that land is going to be a multi-step process before we could really engage the community on this is what we want to do. Mind you, or thank you for reminding me that even then grants have a long on-ramp.
Yeah.
In order to apply, I think we have to have kind of an unquestioned and unfettered control of the site.
Well, yeah, I kind of lost my thought. That's what happens after this time.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, would there be any, on any kind of city-owned property, I'm a big proponent for requests for proposals. And I'm wondering if at some point we could offer that up for a request for qualifications and see what comes out there.
Have all these scientists, maybe.
You know what? I think that's a cool thing. It is.
I think that
Science night at the power plant site.
I think that RFPs.
Sign this.
Especially if the city has kind of prescribed some parameters that
Yes.
have been established through a community process.
Yes.
So we just cleared out a whole lot of barriers left and right, and then we kind of scoped the project to a degree. We put that out there, I think that is like the best way to get the most benefit, including potential for long-term revenue for the city.
And it is competitive. I
Yeah.
guess I saw when I was working before that if you didn't open it up, it opened yourself up for criticism. That makes sense? Yeah, if you didn't open it up for everyone to participate, then it opened you up for criticism. It does.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a good summary. Yeah, definitely. Good.
Well, I think we have a lot to work with and work on in the coming year. And there's a lot going on in Blue Lake, and a lot of it's really cool.
it's such a gem.
Maybe we don't want to be discovered by the world.
I mean, speaking as a member of the public, it doesn't have to be a time capsule to preserve what we have here, because it's more than just a particular structure. It's how we interact with each other and our close proximity.
And respect.
And what?
And respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
this is,
But in order for the city to sustain, change has to happen. Growth has to happen. And that's, in all this prior turmoil, there was a lot of people saying, I don't want it to change. I don't want new neighbors. I don't want, and that kind of thing. And they were, a lot of them were the loudest people, but in order for the city to sustain,
They've got to grow.
it's got to grow. It's got to gain funds. It's got to have money.
Got to
and-
be supportive of the general fund.
well, I think as we look at what growth means, I would even take that word out only because the way, what the city really needs, the word function, is to grow its revenue streams.
Uh-huh.
And get those stabilized. that can come in various ways. So, you know,
Cost-cutting measures too, I mean, it's like, if there's things that can help just to stabilize costs too, because cost inflation is always gonna put pressure on revenue.
But the past models of sales tax, and this isn't disregarding any business here that generates sales tax for us, but the sales tax revenue collected from brick and mortar buildings is getting completely undermined by warehouses, by online sales, and then just people's tendency in general not to shop locally. So then we have to look at what are those businesses, those business models that still generate that revenue that we need.
What's the leakage?
Yeah,
What's the leakage?
exactly.
And then try to see if there's any way to recruit or encourage a business to deal with that leakage. So then you could have it.
And you know, we have land, and this, again, just as a member of the public, in my past, I worked for nonprofits, and what we did, like in every, the number one way to break the cycle of poverty in families is generational wealth, and the number way to that is through home ownership. And so we worked with, it originally started with descendants of slaves who were still living on plantation lands in southern Louisiana. And so finding those lands and combining money and low interest loans, and then it's involved, I can't remember, it's been too long, but basically packaging this together so that a family that could otherwise never afford to buy a home could. And so that starts to set this whole family, not just that nuclear unit, but, you know, grandma and cousins and et cetera. And so through that home ownership, it builds that wealth and that strengthens the community. Well, something that, you know, I see with us with the opportunity with the land, and it wouldn't necessarily be a huge revenue stream, but there's a balance between being able to provide affordable housing and also being able to provide housing for moderate and higher income levels. And some of those could actually support revenue generation for the city while also affording affordable housing. It's a more complicated model. It wouldn't be easy. It would take other partnerships. But it's something that if we rethink how we can generate revenue here, then I think that might kind of do a little bit of reset of what we do with what our resources are. That
Yeah,
seems
and
to
you're
work.
not wrong. The word growth can be a loaded word in today's conversation, especially here in Blue Lake. But for sure, I
That's
totally
true.
get that. And I don't necessarily mean giant monstrosities or whatever as far as that. But no, growth as far as like more small businesses, more affordable housing, things like that. There's, and how that looks, I don't know
Well,
today for
and the
sure.
thing
but-
is, by getting more humans here, then there's more of a likelihood of getting a business here
Mhm.
to provide the services. And that's like, you know, so it's the chicken and egg thing, but
Yeah.
um,
So I totally get that.
You get more jobs, you get more people, you get more services,
yeah,
more investment.
yeah.
Good.
Definite challenge. So are you ready to?
Yep, I think we have some future agenda items to address and some things to think about. And if there's nothing else,
I looked on the city website, it doesn't say our commission, it doesn't say the commission's terms or anything, it just talks about the councils.
yeah,
So I couldn't find it very quickly, I guess, maybe I didn't look
maybe we
in
have
all
a
the right
different,
spots,
there's
but
probably,
They usually have it posted with the Maddie Act posting, and that would have all of the commissions. like
Okay.
Oh,
Washington,
okay.
Maine,
okay, I'll look on there a little further at home online then.
MADDY.
Okay.
okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Oh, you get to first it.
Oh, I get to first it,
Okay.
first,
And I
That
will
we adjourn.
second.
Second, and we're adjourned at,
Great. 5:50.
yeah, 5:50.
5:50.